Chiefs Kingdom, what's going on? Harrison Graham here on a Sunday. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's show. I also appreciate everybody who submitted their trade ideas on our community tab on our YouTube channel. Appreciate that. If you didn't get your question on the show, I apologize. Chose the best trade ideas. That's how we roll here. Hopefully we can get you on a future video. So let's get this thing started. Stick fight with the first trade idea. Josh Allen, the defensive end, the edge, not the quarterback, from Jacksonville to the Chiefs for Frank Clark and a second-round pick. So swap edge rushers plus throw Jacksonville a second-round pick. Got to be honest, I'd do this trade in a heartbeat. Listen, I'm not high on Frank Clark at this point. His production has dipped every single year. He's had off-field concerns. And Josh Allen, through 3 seasons, has been really damn good. He hasn't been a superstar, but he's been pretty rock solid. He's played in 40 of 49 possible games, so pretty healthy overall. 20 and a half sacks, so he's had a sack every other game, basically. 3 forced fumbles, bunch of tackles as well. Good young edge rusher that has 2 years left of team control with that 5th-year option looming as a possibility. I would absolutely do this trade if I was Kansas City. You dump Frank Clark, you get Josh Allen. You throw a second, but I don't think that's that bad of a deal considering he was a top 10 pick just a few years ago. Would you do this trade if you were Brett Veach? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Would you do this Josh Allen for Frank Clark in a second-round pick trade? I absolutely would. I'm typing my Y down in the comments section. Look, Zach, football's idea between the Chiefs and Commanders. Montez Sweat, another edge rusher to the Chiefs, plus a 5th-round pick in return for a 2nd-round pick. Well, one thing that was clear in the ideas you guys sent in, and I didn't choose all of them, you guys recognize that the Chiefs need edge rushers. They need pass rushers, and you guys are right. I'm glad we're all on the same page here because that is the weakest part of this football team is pass rushers coming off the edge. Montez Sweat would certainly help fill that void. Only played in 10 games last year, missed some time with injuries. I think he missed a game or 2 with COVID as well. 5 sacks in 10 games, so that's a sack every other game, similar to Josh Allen's career production. 13 quarterback hits, 3 forced fumbles. He was a productive player and has been in his career. Now, you look at the defensive line depth chart, as we've talked about a couple of edge rushers here. It's thin. There's no way around it. Frank Clark, George Karlaftis, Michael Dana, and a bunch of question marks. I mean, that's the reality of it. And it's not like Karlaftis is a proven commodity. The Chiefs are high on him. They think he's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a good player, but we don't know for sure. Now, would Washington send a 5th and Sweat in return for just a 2nd? I don't know. I tend to think they'd want a little bit more, but entering the last year of his rookie contract, maybe, just maybe, that would be enough. Chiefs fans, are you subscribed here to the Kansas City Chiefs Report? If you are, type squad in the comments. I better see dozens of you guys spamming squad down below because, hey, we've built this community, and it is a squad, and you guys are all a part of it. If you haven't subbed, go ahead and subscribe. Daily videos. Plus, type squad below because then you will be an official member of the Chiefs Report squad. All right, next one here. Maxwell Monson's idea. Trevon Diggs, the corner from Dallas, for 3 picks, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th all next year. 3 picks is a lot, but no first-round picks. That ain't going to get it done. Number one, the Cowboys aren't going to trade Trevon Diggs anyway. But if they were, you better be sending a first-round pick, especially after the year he just had. Yes, he gives up completions and yards, but only 52%. You'll live with that. Yeah, he gave up big plays, but when you pick off 11 passes and knock away 21 balls, you'll take that risk reward because he absolutely forces turnovers. He gets hands on the football, and that changes games. Turnovers change games. I'd rather give up some big plays if I'm also taking the football away as well than have a guy that doesn't give up plays but doesn't necessarily take the ball away either. However, despite all this, I actually think Kansas City is pretty good at corner. I think they're in a good spot. After the Trent McDuffie pick, sure, you lost Tarvarius Ward, but you've got Rashad Fenton, L'Jarius Sneed. You picked up Lonnie Johnson in a trade as well. DeAndre Baker's still in the mix. I think you got 4 or 5 corners that you at least feel okay about, 2 or 3 pretty good ones at the top as well. Trevon Diggs would be a lot of fun, but Dallas ain't trading him, and they sure as hell ain't trading him if a first-round pick isn't involved. Now, Chiefs fans, I can't get to all of your questions on today's show, but if you want to guarantee to get your question or your trade idea or anything else on the show comment-wise, super thanks is the way to do it. You see that heart button there just to the right of the like button if you're looking at the left cell phone. You click that, and then the right part of your screen on that photo pops up. You can send in however much money you want. We appreciate the donations. And then you can ask your question there. You can change the defaulted answer, which just says thanks. Again, you can backspace that and send in your trade ideas, your question. Any super thanks we get on the channel, we give you shout outs, we answer those questions, so we greatly appreciate it. If you want to be a part of a future show, that is something that you guys can do. So subscribe, send in those super thanks, and we would absolutely greatly appreciate it if you guys did that, because all donations are welcomed, and they're all very much appreciated as well. Couple more here. We've got, what does that say? I'm cut off on my screen here. 1X Trezzy's idea. Appreciate that, producer Jack. This one is when it kind of gets off the rails, but I wanted to talk about it. TJ Watt to the Chiefs, maybe the best defensive player in football after Aaron Donald for 3 first-round picks, a second, and a third. I love TJ Watt, and you need an edge rusher, but this is too much. You don't trade this much for a defensive player. You just don't do it. You're not going to have a first-round pick until 2026 because you got TJ Watt. Sure, he's great, but he costs a ton of money, and it's one guy on your defense. That's too much draft capital to give up. Only quarterbacks and really good ones can fetch 3 first-round picks. We just saw Deshaun Watson, which, quite frankly, that was an overpay with his off-the-field stuff. Russell Wilson only got 2 first-round picks. A top 10 NFL quarterback. And you're telling me you'd give up 3 first, a second, and a third for TJ Watt. It's an overpay. I appreciate the question because the Chiefs should be a little bit desperate to get an edge rusher, but that's too desperate. I can't go that far if I'm Kansas City. Would you trade 3 first-round picks for TJ Watt? Let me know down in the comment section. T for trade, P for pass. I'm going to have to pass on this one. All right, final question here. David Mohammed's idea. Jalen Ramsey to the Chiefs for a first and a second next year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Frank Clark. I actually think the offer's decent. Maybe you'd have to do 2 firsts instead of a first and a second, but Rams aren't going to do it because they're in win-now mode, and Jalen Ramsey is a win-now player. So they're not going to take that trade. They trade for players like Jalen Ramsey, right? They're trying to add to their arsenal. And sure, you're going to say, well, they got a running back and an edge rusher out of it. Well, okay, CEH has kind of been a semi-bust, and Frank Clark's on a bad contract. So that trade doesn't make sense for the Rams. And again, I'll circle back to what I said. The cornerback position for the Chiefs, I think, is in a pretty good spot. I think your 3 starters, Fenton, McDuffie, and Snead, are pretty good. I think Johnson and Baker are serviceable backups. Could you add another corner? Sure, I wouldn't say no. But I don't think you need to, try and go swing big for a Jalen Ramsey or a Trevon Diggs when that player isn't even going to be available anyway. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, appreciate it. Again, send in your best trade ideas below. We'll probably do this again in the next couple of weeks. If you super thanks your trade idea, it's a guarantee to get on the show. So go ahead and do that right now in the comments section. I would greatly appreciate it. That's going to do it for today's Chiefs Report. Appreciate you guys for loading up those questions. I'm sorry to those of you who I didn't get to, chose the best ones and went from there. Again, you can send in more trade ideas down below. Obviously, subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.